The views or opinions expressed on Ann Arbor Inclusive do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the City of Ann Arbor and the Commission on Disability Issues. For more information about the Ann Arbor Commission on Disability Issues, please visit a2gov.org/disability resources.
Hello, and welcome to Ann Arbor Inclusive. I'm Tom Hoatland, your new host. I've been in Ann Arbor serving the disability community in several capacities for more than 20 years, and I very much look forward to bringing you, our dedicated viewers, unique and remarkable guests in our local disability communities and providing you with the latest resources to promote inclusivity for people with disabilities. I especially want to thank my friend and former host of Ann Arbor Inclusive, Zach Damon, for his friendship and for an outstanding job hosting this program since its inception 3 years ago. I know this will be a transition, and my hope that he and you will be supportive and proud of the shows that we create. We would love to hear your feedback. I'm really excited to have with us today Richard Carlisle with the Best Buddies organization. Best Buddies is an international organization focused on providing people with intellectual and developmental disabilities one-to-one friendships and mentoring, but so much more. We'll meet and talk with Dick in a moment or two, but first, let's take a look at the story he brought with him.
Where can I put this?
Right there.
Oh, you want it right there? Okay.
Katie is just a phenomenal person. She's funny. She's very intelligent. She will tell you stories of hardships that she's been through, but she tells you her story because she doesn't want you to feel sorry for her. She tells her story because she wants you to take it and make a difference.
Prior to Best Buddies, Katie was floundering for friendship. She was looking all over for one, and she wasn't treated particularly well by other students in school, particularly in high school.
I felt like I was always alone. For 4 years, I had no one to walk with. I always ate by myself. I was also a bullied.
She wasn't rising to her potential without that friendship stimulation. When Best Buddies came in, Katie had been our gift. Now it was time for her to have a gift.
Yeah, I think it feels good.
I was gonna say, it should feel great.
Tiffany, all we do is laugh. I've not done this in my whole life. We get together and eat, and watch movies, sing. That's what Best Buddies is. It's a door. And the moment you open that door, you'll find that person like Tiffany on the other side. So that's all women clubs.
Yes, cheers.
It's amazing to hear her story of how friendship can actually skyrocket you to amazing things, just because of the confidence boost in of itself and feeling like you have someone that you can share things with and talk to.
Through Best Buddies, she's obviously had a lot of leadership opportunities, but then also with her job, I think that she's really gained a lot of skills.
We're delighted to have Katie as part of our team. I know she inspires me. I know that she inspires others that she works with. We get letters from patients and patients' family talking about Katie and what she did for them at a very difficult time.
Katie's presence is just a tremendous help for parents to understand that their babies are going to do well, that they have good prognosis and a good future.
I think every person has a purpose in life, and I think my purpose is to go out and speak in front of all those audiences in the world.
it has just changed her completely. Her confidence builds with every speech. She cannot get enough of helping her cause to make everyone do the best that they can and feel good about themselves.
She doesn't look at herself as if she has a disability. And that is one of the most amazing things I think that I find in her, is just her ability to know that she can do whatever she puts her mind to.
All my life, I've always asked, why wasn't I born normal? A long time ago, I was at a meeting for Best Buddies with the founder, Anthony Kennedy Shriver, and he flat out told me, Katie, I will not change you for the world. I like who you are from the inside. Let's just say I was in tears. And that's when I went to my mom and I told her, I am proud of who I am from the inside. Best Buddies has been the greatest gift of my life. And to me, Best Buddies is my life.
Some powerful stuff. I really like that video. So Richard, in your words, what is Best Buddies and how did it get started?
Well, I think Katie told a very good story.
Indeed.
Best Buddies is about friendship, and as you indicated, it's about so much more. And it was started well over 20 years ago, 25 years ago, by Anthony Shriver, from the Kennedy Shrivers, and it came out of a realization that he came to that there needed to be something more of an organization that would provide friendship. As you know, his mother, Eunice, started Special Olympics.
Right.
And he worked in it and he helped with it, but he was aware that Special Olympics had a somewhat limited time frame in terms of the impact on people's lives. I mean, a very good impact, right, but a limited time frame. And he said, Mom, we've got to do more than this. And so he started Best Buddies in his college dorm room with 5 of his friends. And it's now grown to be in 54 countries, in all 50 states, serving, the largest population of folks with intellectual developmental disabilities, in the world, actually, and impacting so many more people from that standpoint also. And it's something that we have to grow here in Michigan too.
Right, yeah. So what are some of the other programs of Best Buddies?
Well, obviously the core of the program is the one-on-one friendship. And just to speak a little bit about that, I think we think today in 2018 that the feeling of isolation and exclusion is over for people with disabilities in general, but particularly from my experience, and that's where most of my experience is, with intellectual and developmental disabilities. But we know that's not the case. And so the idea of forming friendships and having a program where you have peer-to-peer friendships between those folks with and without developmental disabilities is really the core of the program.
Right.
And from there, everything has advanced and grown from there. There's really a couple other aspects of the program that we find particularly appealing to allow it to be expanded in Michigan. One is job development. They started a very successful job training and development program several years ago, and where they have been able to institute that program, they've been able to create meaningful jobs, good, well-paying jobs for people, because their philosophy has been, we have a resource here that's capable of being employed and being an excellent employee. And then the other aspect of the program is leadership development, an ambassador program. And leadership development is a program that really allows these folks, young folks, to really advocate for themselves and really articulate what Best Buddies has meant for them also, and to really be an ambassador for the program. And that is really what it helps build self-confidence. It builds on the job development program, and it also helps them be a better friend themselves too.
Right, right.
Yeah.
We know what jobs bring to an individual.
Absolutely.
That's so important.
Yeah.
So tell us how extensive Best Buddies is here in Michigan.
Well, it's not as extensive as it needs to be, Tom, and that's why we're doing this. Best Buddies has been functioning for a number of years with 6 college chapters at University of Michigan, Eastern, Grand Valley, Central, Western, and Wayne State.
Wow.
And the largest and most active chapter is the University of Michigan, and Eastern's not far behind. And both have served as real models, I think, throughout the country from the standpoint of their how good a job that they've done. But because we don't have a state office, we haven't been able to expand Best Buddies through all of the age spectrums. We could have chapters starting at middle school, through high school, up through college, and then have chapters that concentrate on the Citizen Buddy program, and that's for folks that are older. And I think we forget about the fact that we have a population that is aging and needs to be included and have friendship also.
Right.
So right now we're limited for expansion of the program because we don't have a state office. We're doing good things with the chapters we have. And what's really been exciting is that since we've started this effort to develop a state office in Michigan, we have now had 3 new college chapters started.
Wow.
Oakland University, at Northern Michigan, and at Michigan State. And I'm very happy to say that we're having our first high school chapter started, and that's here in Ann Arbor at Community High.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So tell me about your role.
Well, it's very interesting. My daughter has had a Best Buddy for over 20 years from the University of Michigan.
Okay.
And most of the time, her Best Buddy she's had for 3 or 4 years throughout college. But you know what? I really frankly didn't know a lot about Best Buddies other than the fact that we enjoyed it. We enjoyed her having a friend, but I didn't really know much about the organization from top to bottom. I attended an event a couple of years ago, and it was one of those typical Michigan cold spring days. It was supposed to be an event at Gallup Park, and I thought, well, nobody will show up. It was snowing out, I mean, literally.
Yeah.
And I got there, and there was over 200 people there.
Wow.
And I saw all these college kids, and at that point, it got me,
Yeah.
And I spoke to a representative from the national office at that event, and I said, what can we do to make more people aware of this? And she told me, well, we're trying to get a state office started in Michigan. And that part, I volunteered. So what I'm doing is I'm heading up an expansion committee for the state of Michigan that we are attempting to raise the money to be able to establish a state office. It's my goal that we'll have that state office right here, in our area.
Yeah.
I think it's a logical thing to do. And hopefully we'll see Best Buddies grow, exponentially from that standpoint.
So if you're successful in what you're setting out to do, what's next?
Well, if we're successful, then the office is going to grow, and there will be programs developed, in at all levels of education. Hopefully, a job development program, and the program, and there's no reason why the program, won't grow tremendously. Because from the feedback that I'm getting from people around the state, there is a great deal of interest in developing chapters, at the middle school level, at the high school level. And if you really think about it, Tom, that's where the greatest impact can be.
Indeed.
That's where the circumstances of bullying, is most prevalent.
I was thinking that.
exclusion, Katie's story told it. I mean, that is way too prevalent, unfortunately.
Right.
And, you know, there's so many more middle schools and high schools than there are colleges, and if we start at that level, you know, the whole understanding and acceptance and tolerance and friendship will grow from there, and I think we'll be a much better world because of it.
Right. Even elementary school.
Yes.
Kids are at an age where they can really grasp that concept.
Correct.
And let it spread. So Dick, tell me about your inspiration with the college students.
Oh boy, that's been a tremendous part of this experience. You know, I mean, my daughter has obviously had some very outstanding best buddies in the 20 years that she's had a best buddy, but since I've gotten involved in this expansion effort, I've met so many more young people who are involved in the Best Buddies program. And I remember attending a meeting with the Michigan chapter about 1.5 years ago when we launched this effort. And I said I introduced myself, and I said to the president at that time, I said, I just want to thank you so much for what you're doing, you know, being involved in Best Buddies. And she looked at me somewhat incredulously and said, Mr. Carlisle, what are you talking about? This has changed my life. She goes, I've gotten way more out of this than I put into it. And that's the story that I get from every peer buddy that I talk to, that this has been a life-changing experience. It's enriched their college life. They've gained new friends through being a Best Buddy, you know, from within the Best Buddies chapter.
Right.
And in many cases, they develop lifelong friends with their buddy that they were assigned to. And I know that Megan, you know, corresponds with Best Buddies that she's had in the past, and she stays in touch with them. So it really, when we think about this population of college students, and they get labeled with, you know, things that they're self-indulged, I can tell you it's exactly the opposite. These kids give a lot of their time, and they give a lot to this community from that standpoint. And it was inspiring for me to really, it has been inspiring for me to meet many of these young kids and see what they're really, really made of. You know?
Yeah, it's really amazing what young folks can do.
It is, yeah.
Right. So I want to make sure you tell us about your event that's coming up next month.
Well, we have this is very exciting because we're trying to really culminate this campaign to raise the money we need to have a state office complete by this fall, you know. On September 29th, we will be having a friendship walk, and it will be held on the campus of St. Joe's Hospital.
Okay.
And the whole purpose of the friendship walk is, one, it's an event to promote friendship. It's obviously an event to raise money. It's a great social gathering. I think if you've ever been to an event like this, or if you've never been to an event like this, you won't be the same, you know, after you've attended it.
I bet.
Yeah. And it will be held from 8:30 till 1 o'clock, and there'll be food and there'll be entertainment, but there'll also be a walk around the campus of St. Joe's Hospital, who, by the way, has been tremendous in allowing us to have it there.
Yeah.
And we believe it will be attracting teams from many more areas outside of Ann Arbor, from around the state, actually. So it's a very exciting event for us.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
What's your role in the event?
I'm a walker.
Okay.
Fortunately, you know, this organization has been tremendous in providing us with support. The national organization, that is, you know, and they really want to see a state office in Michigan. There are 27 offices around the country. We are not one of them.
Wow.
But we're one of the most active states, and they tell me it's one of the states where they get the most inquiries from people regarding Best Buddies.
Wow.
And so, you know, so consequently, they've brought in, they have a lot of expertise in organizing friendship walks, because they do them. This is one of their major events, but they've recruited a team to be able to do Friendship Walk, to do the Friendship Walk and to get sponsors. One of my roles actually is to recruit teams, which we're in the process of doing. And if you go on the website, which it's just Best Buddies Michigan Friendship Walk, it's just Google that. That's the easiest way to do it than me giving out the website. You'll see that it's a very informative site, and you'll see that there are teams forming right now as we speak.
Okay.
The last time I looked, I think there was probably 25 teams that are already been established. So.
Yeah. Well, we want to get you a lot of traffic, so can you tell us that one more time, what to Google?
Yeah, just Google Michigan Best Buddies Friendship Walk,
Okay.
and it'll take you right to the site. Or if you just do Best Buddies Michigan Friendship Walk, I've done it, a number of times, and
Yeah.
it'll take you right very easily to the website. If you're interested in getting involved in Best Buddies, in other ways, just again go to the website Best Buddies Michigan, and it'll also tell you other ways to get involved in Best Buddies also.
Great, great. Well, Richard, I'm so glad that you were able to highlight the program with us. This is a program near and dear to me because I know what mentoring brings to individuals. So I couldn't think of a better first show to do.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. And I appreciate you being with us today.
Thank you. Well, Tom, I did bring something for you because.
Oh, great.
Yeah, because I'm your inaugural guest, and I hope it all works out for you.
Yeah.
I brought you a Best Buddies Michigan T-shirt.
Nice.
Isn't that a great logo?
It is.
Beautiful.
Very colorful, and I'm a T-shirt guy.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you can wear this, when you're out on the beach on South Haven or wherever, So
that sounds great.
So, yeah.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here. I'd like to thank Richard Carlisle for showcasing such an extraordinary organization. I'd also like to thank the Ann Arbor Commission on Disability Issues for entrusting me with your program, but especially to you, our viewers, for joining me on my first show. I'm having fun, and I hope you are too. Please send us your feedback and suggestions, including if you know someone or of an organization that's making a difference in our disability communities. We want to hear from you. Reach out to us at a2disabilityissues@gmail.com. I hope to see you next month on Ann Arbor Inclusive. Thanks.